Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Wednesday, the 21st of January. This is CTV News. Tonight, Halifax, a top 3 city in Canada for the worst traffic in the country. A call to service, encouraging former military personnel to take up the trades. And Friends for Life, high school classmates bound by a life-saving donation.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. A new survey confirms what a great many Haligonians already know. The traffic is terrible. In fact, Halifax trails only Toronto and Vancouver for the title of most congested city. CTV's Jonathan McGuinness has more.
Traffic in Halifax isn't always bad, but when it is, it's terrible.
I remember, I think a year ago, they were doing work on the bridge, and I didn't really realize, so I was, I think, 2.5 hours on North Street.
GPS company TomTom just released their 2025 traffic index, and it shows many motorists in the city are experiencing the same thing. The average travel time for a 10-kilometer drive around the city is almost 26 minutes. That increases to 30 minutes and 18 seconds during morning rush hour and 33 minutes and 42 seconds during the evening commute. Over the course of the year, that translates into 111 hours people spent in their vehicles during rush hour, the equivalent of 4 days and 15 hours. That's 3 hours and 50 minutes more than in 2024. Nova Scotia's Premier says there are things that can be done.
Looking at the high occupancy vehicle lanes for sure, looking at the synchronization and the flow of lights along major thoroughfares. So there are ways we can move things.
Digital message signs are also in place along major routes around the city, displaying travel times to various destinations.
It gives drivers a much better opportunity to make driving decisions that will save time.
The extra congestion can partially be connected to population growth and return to office policies. Dalhousie University traffic professor Ahsan Habib believes the city needs to get people out of their cars and onto some form of transit for congestion to be alleviated.
We need alternative public transit, and the evolution of the city needs an evolution of transportation system, and public transit should be in that portfolio.
Until mass rapid transit options are in place, drivers in the city might as well get comfortable behind the wheel. Jonathan McGuinness, CTV News, Halifax.
A fire involving a tractor trailer shut down an exit on Nova Scotia Highway 101 today. It's happened about 11 o'clock this morning on the off-ramp at exit 13. That's near North Alton in the Annapolis Valley. The back tires of the truck caught fire, as you can see from the smoke there. The flames were quickly extinguished. Nobody was hurt. The exit later reopened. And firefighters from Kentville also found themselves dealing with this structure fire on Mee Road this afternoon. This call came in about 2:15. Reports say the blaze was contained to the kitchen area. Nobody was injured. Firefighters from Waterville, Port Williams, and New Minas provided assistance for this one. The man convicted in the hit-and-run death of a young girl in Cape Breton more than 6 years ago has been granted full parole. The family of 10-year-old Talia Forrest confirming the parole board's decision to CTV News today. The little girl had been riding her bike on the Black Rock Road in July of 2019 when she was struck and killed by an SUV. 5 years later, the driver, Colin Hugh Tweedy, was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison for dangerous driving causing death, impaired driving causing death, and leaving the scene of an accident. Last June, Tweedy was granted day parole less than a year into his sentence.
Get the Maritimes top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Happy to tell you tonight the vast majority of Nova Scotia Power customers are back on the grid after that big storm. This was a tough go. A lot of households and businesses along the South Shore went without power for 2 days or more. The ongoing outage prompted other concerns.
Our water treatment plant had to run on a generator for over 24 hours. So that critical infrastructure just can't be without power for that long. And so we started with massive power failures and we're ending with a lot of questions as to why.
Mitchell says Nova Scotia Power had indicated its vegetation abatement program was going well, but notes nearly all of the outages were being blamed on trees and branches falling onto lines. Travel nurses will continue working in New Brunswick's Vitalite Health Network. The authority confirms it will not meet its February deadline to eliminate the use of so-called contract nurses. Vitalite's CEO says nurse recruitment has been a challenge, and the process to phase out travel nurses would continue in the months ahead. The New Brunswick Nurses Union says it's not surprised by the news, but the president insists the practice has to end as soon as possible.
The sooner the better, but I'm a realist, and I think that if they can actually aim for the end of 2026, then that gives them the opportunity to really be aggressive with their recruitment, but also to look at the different initiatives that it might take to have more New Brunswick nurses into those facilities.
New Brunswick government has previously said the contracts have been contributing to the province's ballooning deficit. The Health Authority and Travel Nurse Service are in court right now. They've got dueling lawsuits against each other. Dalhousie University in Halifax has revoked the honorary degree given to legendary singer Buffy St. Marie. Published reports say the school made the decision after a Mi'kmaq student raised concerns about maintaining the honor after a CBC investigation raised questions about the singer's Indigenous identity. Aaron Prosper from Eskasoni asked the university last February to revoke the degree it awarded St. Marie in 2018, and word is that has now happened. A town on the north shore of PEI could soon be changing its name after a vote by residents. On Monday, people in Savage Harbour voted in a ranked ballot on a choice for a new name in the community, and the winner was Wild Harbour, which will now be submitted to the provincial cabinet for approval. A community was flagged as part of a national initiative to identify place names that are considered outdated or demeaning. City of Moncton is expanding, a new neighborhood being built in the growing city, but this will not be an example of suburban sprawl. CTV's Derek Haggett explains.
There's not much to look at now, but this piece of land could soon be the home for close to 10,000 people. A master plan for the Station Yard subdivision was unanimously approved by City Council this week. Up to 4,500 housing units are in the works, and it's close to retirement homes and a shopping plaza.
Everything is going to be connected, and due to those amenities, the grocery stores, the places of employment, Mountain Road, we were able to really focus on this area as a resident first versus maybe a car-dependent type neighborhood.
The 80-acre parcel of land is located at the busy off-ramp of Wheeler Boulevard and Mountain Road.
It's been sort of vacant, virgin land for, well, since always almost. So finally we get development in that area.
The city says the developer was looking more for residential or potential mixed-use development.
But now knowing the projections of this area and the growth that we're experiencing generally throughout the city, we've been working very closely with the province on identifying areas of growth where schools also would be a good fit.
It's expected to take 10 to 15 years to complete the project. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
After a partnership lasting more than a decade, the Cape Breton Regional Municipality has ended talks with a company that had been looking to develop the Sydney Harbour. Sydney Harbour Investment Partners, also known as SHIP, had an exclusive contract with CBRM since 2015 to try and build a container terminal. 3 years ago, the group announced plans to build a wind farm in the Sydney Harbour, but that didn't happen either. Last night, a council vote on continuing negotiations with SHIP was ultimately defeated. Some say it's time for a public tender here.
After 10 years of a contract that's not been tendered and not seen the light of day, there's a chance that we're now going to go through a formal, professional, transparent process.
Yeah, no, I voted the way I did last night because I believe we have a tremendous opportunity in front of us. There's been a lot of time and effort gone into this process, and I think we should have continued with our negotiations to see through to get a new agreement.
We tried to reach SHIP in Montreal for comment on this news, but did not hear back by news time. A Syrian family that left its war-torn country is struggling in its new adopted maritime home. Their 18-year-old son lost the use of his legs in an attack as they were fleeing the war-torn country. He cannot walk. The family can't afford to build a ramp. There's been no money from the province this year, in fact.
We was hearing Canada is the best country. Canada is the best country to take care of like any situation.
Every newcomer family has the similar sort of challenges. Disability support service navigation is difficult to navigate for everybody, every Canadian, every individual, and when you add the language barrier on top of things, it definitely adds more work onto things and complicates matters.
The Department of Social Development says approvals are based on assessments, eligibility, and legislation, but there are no specific disability programs for newcomers. Okay, time for our first break in this Wednesday night. Still to come, Kaylin's full forecast, and we'll look at some ways to battle a real mental health epidemic, loneliness among seniors. Coming up next, though, a new kind of service.
And within 2 weeks, I was already set up. I had a job to come back to, and I was taken care of.
It's a push to encourage military members to give up weapons in exchange for hammers, pipe wrenches. Details are next. Stay with us.
With Aaron and Peter. What is something you cannot sleep without? We're talking about that tomorrow at 7.
And congratulations to Kelly Cummings Martell, our latest Password to Paradise winner. 28 more trips to give away.
Now to a push to help military members find careers in the skilled trades and serve Canada in a new way. CTV's Jesse Thomas tells us tonight there is assistance to make that happen.
When David Timo's military career ended, it took him a few years to figure out what came next. One thing he knew, he didn't want an office job.
As a clearance diver, we did a lot of underwater construction. I did a lot of ships maintenance, and it was a natural flow where you're working with your hands and you're, having to use your brain.
The trades felt like a natural fit after his time in uniform, but the path forward wasn't immediately clear.
I was on my own, and it was a big struggle, and it was really hard to get going. I probably lost years just building new relations and having to foster that.
After his service wrapped up on the West Coast, the Kentville native moved back home to Nova Scotia, and he connected with the Helmets to Hard Hats program that helps veterans transition into new careers in the trades. Premier Tim Houston announced today the province was partnering with Helmets to Hard Hats through the Skills Bridge initiative. A 3-year plan will they'll spend nearly $500,000 to help 100 veterans, reservists, and even their family members get into a trade.
People who serve in our Canadian Forces bring such a skill set and such a commitment to what they're doing, employment-wise. So I think we're going to start here. We're big fans of the program.
Somebody who may have left Nova Scotia as a 18, 19-year-old doesn't have a relationship, may not have a relationship with the unionized skilled trades when they release at the age of 30. So we facilitate that.
Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Jesse. When we return, it's your complete maritime weather forecast, and there is some very cold air heading our way for the weekend. Kaylin Mitchell has all the details when we come back. Wednesday night, 21st day of January. It was nice to see the sunshine today, but man, it felt like January.
No mistaking that we are in the middle of winter with temperatures like this. Cold night for the Maritimes. We actually have some snow that's going to be developing as well. That's from a low pressure system. It's making its way through the Great Lakes region. It is expected to be a snowy start to the day for tomorrow for many parts of the Maritimes. Let's take a look at our forecast timeline, and that snow is showing here developing in through the blues. So it becomes a little more widespread as we head into the overnight hours. And here's the snowy start to the day on Thursday. That snow coming down. It'll be accumulating in areas like New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island, parts of Nova Scotia as well. Though Nova Scotia through the day, we'll see the last of that snow mix with or turn over to a little bit of light rain as temperatures become a bit milder in a southwest wind. Now that mix of precipitation is mostly clearing through Thursday afternoon, and as we head into Thursday evening and Thursday night, partly cloudy conditions with some scattered flurries expected. Here's how much snow we can expect to start off the day with, and in areas of New Brunswick, as much as around 1 to 5 centimeters of snow. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's certainly enough to make for some snow-covered and slippery roads. It's also possible there could be a few centimeters of accumulation in parts of Nova Scotia, including the Annapolis Valley and northern eastern parts of that province. The snow should be falling lightly in Prince Edward Island, but there are communities in PEI that could pick up some snowfall amounts between 1 and 5 centimeters through the remainder of the day on Thursday. Likewise, New Brunswick could pick up another 1 to 5 centimeters of snow through the day. That might bring some totals to around or just over the 5 centimeter mark. In Nova Scotia, though, once again, as we move through the day, the last of that snow will be turning over to some light rain. Taking a look at the winds in the forecast for tomorrow, they'll be out of the west and the southwest, mostly sustained between 20 and 30 kilometers per hour, but with occasional gusts between 30 and 50. Temperatures for tonight are very cold across most of the Maritimes, several degrees below the freezing mark. In the case of PEI and the northern half of New Brunswick, a lot of the low temperatures will be in the range around minus 12 to minus 16. The high temperatures in the forecast for tomorrow, for Thursday, between minus 4 and minus 7 across the north of New Brunswick, with central and southern parts of the province with high temperatures mostly between minus 3 and 0. Though around the Bay of Fundy coastline, temperatures could get up a couple of degrees above 0. For Prince Edward Island for tomorrow, late in the afternoon, high temperatures between 0 and 2 degrees. And in the southwest wind for eastern areas of Nova Scotia, high temperatures climbing into a range of around 2 to 5 degrees. Northern and central parts of the province, including Halifax, will have some high temperatures between 3 and 5. The Annapolis Valley reaching high temperatures near 4 degrees and high temperatures mostly near 5 degrees for the south shore of Nova Scotia. Now that'll be it for the mild temperatures, because then we have some very cold polar air moving into place Friday night for the upcoming weekend. So bitter cold for New Brunswick through the upcoming weekend into the start of next week. Possibility of snow on Monday, and then a mix of sun and cloud for Tuesday and Wednesday. For Nova Scotia in the forecast, a very cold Friday night and weekend is ahead. There is a possibility of some snow on Monday. That'll be with a coastal storm system. It'll all be about how close it gets to the Maritimes as it moves past on its way up towards the North Atlantic. After that Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud and a chance of flurries on Wednesday. And for Prince Edward Island in the forecast, very cold air moving into place Friday night. It's around through the weekend. There's a possibility of some snow on Monday, and it's still on the colder side for Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Bruce.
All right, thank you, sir. Wake up weather still to come. We'll step aside for just a couple of minutes. We'll be right back. Hope you are too.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
This is concerning. A new survey finds more than half of our country's seniors have experienced loneliness over the past year. As CTV's Avery McRae shows us tonight, many more are also at risk of social isolation, but there are ways to battle back.
It has been a few months since Eileen McLaughlin took over as office manager for St. John's Seniors Resource Center, and the added social interactions have boosted her mental health.
It really affects everything, your attitude, your energy level. I felt like I was at least 10 years younger almost as soon as I started here.
A new survey by the National Institute of Aging found seniors are struggling. 57% have experienced loneliness in the past year. 43% feel they are at risk of social isolation, and barriers like money have resulted in 41% of seniors participating less in their community.
Social isolation is akin to the kind of outcomes we see with chronic disease. So it can really reduce somebody's ability to live a healthy, independent life.
Affordability and accessibility are major factors to well-being. The Seniors Resource Center uptown and the Hive in Rothsay are places where seniors can hang out, play games, and socialize with one another at minimal cost.
Isolation is a killer. I mean, that's why in England they have a minister of loneliness. You know, and we need to look at that as a country and as a province.
Because growing older shouldn't mean growing lonelier. Avery McRae, CTV News, St. John.
Thank you, Avery. Time for one final break tonight. Coming up, celebrating a remarkable gift of friendship. First, though, it's your wake-up weather. Here's a live look at Lunenburg, where it's actually a comfortable -1 as we approach midnight. Kaylin Mitchell will tell us how to dress for the morning when we come back.
Enjoy an unforgettable evening at the 2026 Inspired Gala and Auction February 18th in Halifax. Celebrate Special Olympic athletes, coaches, and volunteers, featuring special guest Loretta Claiborne. For tickets, visit specialolympicsns.ca.
It is Thursday morning now, 22nd day of January. Let's kick it off with the wake-up weather and Caleb.
And once again, well, it's not the biggest snow event that we've had this year. It may be a snowy start to the day, or is expected to be a snowy start to the day for many parts of the Maritimes on Thursday. So be careful about that morning commute. Could be slippery and slower than typical. Now, as we make our way into and through the afternoon, a good portion of the snow is going to be clearing away. The last of the snow turning to a little bit of light rain for the province of Nova Scotia as temperatures there become a bit milder. Bruce.
Thank you so much, Kaylin. Well, the new survey finds, no, we already did that one. Question, what would you do for your best friend? Most would say anything, but a couple of ladies from the Maritimes have actually proved that. CTV's Vanessa Wright has their story tonight.
They say friendship lasts forever, and for Cheryl Flamand and Laura Fowler, forever started 40 years ago.
We met in 1980, grade 7, Kingston Elementary School.
And we were in the same class.
And we just took to each other right away. So she became my best friend when I first moved to that town.
Yeah.
The two friends from Nova Scotia have gone through many of life's adventures over the last 4 decades. In 2021, Cheryl fell sick with a rare disease.
One day I just started not feeling very well and no idea what was going on. By the end of the week, I went to the hospital and they set me up with a nephrologist. And about a week and a half after that, I saw the doctor and was told right away to get admitted into the hospital because I was down to 3% kidney function.
She needed a kidney transplant and almost immediately began her search for one.
Nobody in my family member was either healthy enough or had the proper blood type in order to be able to help out.
That's when Laura stepped in.
It was a no-brainer for me. I follow what the universe tells me, what my heart tells me. And what comes out of my mouth comes out of my mouth. It's meant to be said, it's meant to be heard, and I was meant to give her my kidney.
Last Thursday, the two underwent surgery at a Quebec hospital and are now recovering.
Some friends, they swap clothes, they swap friendship bracelets. You guys swapped kidneys. I mean, that's what a gift. How do you feel about that?
There's no words. She just gave me my life back, my freedom.
Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Vanessa. That is your late news for this Wednesday night, Thursday morning. A reminder, if you joined us late or you'd like another look at anything you've seen, CTVNewsAtlantic.ca is your home for news updates right around the